5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I think you're going to like this next interview, this next discussion. Before September 11th, 2001, I had several dreams as we got closer to that fateful date. In the first of three dreams, I'm going to do this real quickly. In the first of three dreams, I was on an airplane. And the airplane was taking a nosedive into a big city. In my dream, it looked like it was Washington, D.C. There were twins on the airplane, and I looked around, and I was glad to see that my son was not on the airplane with me because I knew I was going to die. I was glad that he wasn't on the airplane, and when I woke up from the dream, I said to Robin, when I got to work, of course, I said to Robin, I said, I want to go to an Oktoberfest. And she said, why? I said, because I've never been to one, and if I die, I want to make sure I've gone to an Oktoberfest before I die. Why do you think you're going to die? Well, I had this dream, and I told Robin about the dream. Sometime later, I had another dream, and I saw, and this time I saw an airplane crashing, a jet, same as what I was on, but this time I wasn't in it. I saw it from a distance. And then I said to Robin, maybe this dream means that I still could die, but maybe I'm more likely to survive. And then I had a third dream, and in the third dream, same thing, except I was farther away. It was really far away. I wasn't the only person who had these dreams. Doc, from Doc and Johnny on, what's the station he's on? Another radio guy.
XL 106.7.
Yeah, he said, before this all happened, he announced on the air, I don't think I told my dreams on the air, but he did. Mm-hmm. He said he had this dream about these airplanes crashing and these huge fires. Now keep in mind that my dream had Washington, D.C., which even though we had an attack on Washington, D.C., well, I mean, it was more of an attack on America, so I think that's maybe what my dream is. If dreams mean anything. And then I had twins in my dream, which, of course, the Twin Towers. But did I have enough information to make a phone call? To say to somebody, hey, there's going to be an attack? I didn't have enough information, right? I don't think, unless our next guest is going to be telling me that I did. Recently, I had a dream that I was with a friend I hadn't seen in years or spoken to or communicated with, even though he's a Facebook friend. And I had a dream that he told me he had been in jail. I looked it up, and sure enough, he was arrested for something, probably nothing major. But anyway, isn't that weird? And then when you have dreams that you win the lottery, they don't come true. You know?
Yeah.
And just as good that they don't come true is the fact that sometimes you have horrible dreams and they don't also come true. Evelyn Duesberry had a very brief conversation with me. I was in the middle of production, so I didn't get to chat with her a whole lot before we set up this interview. But I know from her information and her book that this is going to be fascinating. Evelyn Duesberry is a national certified counselor regarding dreams. The book is called The Counselor's Guide for Facilitating and Interpretation of Dreams. What a fascinating topic. And I only tell you my dream stories because we probably all have some. But just to kind of set the table a little bit for this discussion, because I come into this wanting to know everything. So Evelyn Duesberry, good morning, Evelyn.
Yes, you were not the only one, but you really had, actually, Larry, your dream were more accurate than the ones that, even talking about the Twin Towers and so forth, than the other ones I've heard. But there were several people who had these precognitive dreams, and I don't know that we could let anyone know. That is something that happens. Amazing that it happens so much with this particular instance that was coming about.
Now I did have another dream. We live about where are you calling from, Evelyn?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Robin is from. Ever heard of Wisconsin?
Yeah, Robin is from Wisconsin.
We're in Wisconsin.
Cudahy, it's a suburb of Milwaukee.
Sure.
Where are you at?
Platteville, Wisconsin.
Oh,
University
yes.
of Wisconsin.
Oh, yes.
But
on the other side of the state.
Yeah.
But we're about, 90, 100 miles west of Cape Canaveral. And I had a dream once that the space shuttle came this way and crashed into our town. And that never happened. And I remember thinking I should call somebody and tell them. But, of course, I would have been wrong because it didn't happen. But And that was after the Challenger, so it wasn't as if I predicted the Challenger. It was, I don't even remember if it was close to the Columbia, but anyway. So how do we interpret dreams? How do we do this?
Well, I'm going to ask you one other thing. Talk about these other dreams. Did you realize? I know that you write music,
right?
Sing and so forth. Did you know that people like Billy Joel, even Beethoven, composed their music from dreams?
Oh, I have too. It's happened to me too. Not every song. In fact, very few, but there have been a few.
Okay, that was a good question. Well, how do you understand your dreams? These type dreams that you've been telling me about, they do happen. And the pre-dream events, I don't know that my personalized method for interpreting dreams would let you know what they would be able to piece it together afterwards, but perhaps wouldn't let you know before. What you need to do, though, with dreams, and I guess the personalized method for interpreting dreams is a way that the dreamer themselves uses their own dreaming language to interpret their dreams. What happened the day before the dream, if you write that down, that will give you the theme of the dream. Something happened the day before the dream that's fixing your mind, and your dreaming mind answers that, and that'll give you the theme of the dream. Whether on these 2011 occurrences that there was something that happened the day before your dream where it connected, I don't know. If you had, and more important, actually important also is the second thing. Have to write this down at the time of your dream, or it'll just
I know
way away.
There's so many times I've had a dream and thought, oh gosh, I'll never forget this. Like I'll wake up from a dream, take the dog out, and while I'm outside with the dog, I remember it completely. I say, oh, I can't wait to tell somebody. Then I'll go back to bed, wake up, and I remember a very little piece of it.
Very much. They just swim away from you. So the thing is, when I've been the busiest, been the times I have recorded my dreams. As soon as you wake with it, write it down, and whether or not you understand it or not, sometimes it's better if you don't understand the symbolism. Write down predominant events you had the day before your dream, and write down the thoughts, predominant thoughts. Now, how in the world can you figure out which thoughts? We can. And if the thoughts act as questions that the dreaming mind responds to and answers. How great is that? So get those three things down. Also get down your emotions, because emotions in your dreams, though often exaggerated, research shows are more accurate than your waking life appraisal of them. So we had these dreams, which you probably were really, really upset in the dream. Maybe you weren't before your dream. Saying you should have been upset. This is what it's about. Yes, go ahead.
To go back to Larry's dream, would he have been able to think about it and then channel it, like if he went to take a nap, so that the dream would expand and then he would actually have known it was the Twin Towers?
People do work with, you say channel, people do work with lucid dreams. And during the dreams, and I don't, that Stephen LeBerg is an author that works with lucid dreams, but in lucid dreams, you know that you are dreaming, and you can direct the dream. That would be the only way I could think that he could have, but I don't do the lucid type dreaming, because the dreaming mind, when you're actually asleep and totally asleep and dreaming, reaches further than the waking live thoughts could ever go.
Evelyn?
Way to the past.
Evelyn, we need to take a little break, but we'll be right back. This is fascinating. Okay. We'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. We'll see more clouds than sun today, with a shower and thunderstorm or two around, the high 86 to 90. Mostly cloudy tonight with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, low 71 to 75. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a shower and heavy thunderstorm or two around, high 86 to 90. For Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds with a couple of thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon, the high 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Located next door to Silver Spring State Park and a few minutes from historic downtown Ocala, our award-winning Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites of Silver Springs is the place to stay for a friendly, memorable, and fun experience. Enjoy our fast and free Wi-Fi, complimentary hot breakfast, and free parking. Whether you're in town for work or play, our friendly staff will make you feel right at home. That's the Holiday Inn Express and Suites of Silver Springs, proud sponsor of Friday night Marion County High School football on WOCA, The Source.
Who doesn't love heading out on the boat with a family, hitting the ATV trails with friends, or blazing new stretches of highway with riding buddies? Your toys are your ticket to outdoor fun. At the McDonald Allstate Agency, we get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
17 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. This is a fascinating discussion about our dreams. Evelyn Duesberry has written the book that we are talking about. It's called The Counselor's Guide for Facilitating the Interpretation of Dreams, what our dreams tell us, how they help us solve our problems and become more creative and productive, and why counselors should treat people by helping them interpret their dreams. And it takes some learning. You have to kind of read each piece a couple of times, I think, in order for it to sink in. Evelyn, if I've dreamt about somebody who passed away, and I have, does that tell me anything? Or and I don't know if I'm putting you out on a limb to ask you this question, but are they visiting me, or am I just imagining that they're visiting me?
We often dream about people who've passed away. One of my colleagues said, and he is of the black. He's a black person, and he is of the belief that, and they are of the belief that when person has passed away, they do visit you and they need guidance. But it's common to dream about them, and it could. That's a good question, by the way. It could be that things happened in the past, and you reacted to this person who passed away, and of course, now you're thinking about them more. And the dreams will tell you what your relationship, if you want to understand it, what your relationship with that person was, how you reacted to it, what your emotions were, and how maybe you're reacting to things from the past that
that actually makes sense.
Still reacting that same way. You're still reacting the same way. So, we talked about it would take a long while. These PMED model steps, by the way, I had a dream that told me to go to University of Wisconsin Whitewater. Robin will know where that is.
Yep.
We live in Platteville. And that's where I then went from my work as an accountant to work with dreams. That's where I developed and researched this personalized method for interpreting dreams. And step number 3, that only the dreamer can interpret his or her dreams. Just lie down here, I'll tell you what your dreams mean. Because the dream comes from the dreamer person's waking life experiences. So in this PMED model, step 3, it says, interpret phrases, whole whole sentences from the dream based on your own experiences. So if you go step by step, that's why it's important. Record the dream exactly as you remembered it in first person present tense, and then go through each one of those and either symbolically, and often it is symbolically, or straightforwardly interpret, write down what each of those mean to you.
Yeah, now, somebody somewhere, I probably read this, suggested that everybody in a dream is us. Anybody I dream about is a representation of myself. The reason I have a hard time with that, and you might agree with that or disagree, but the reason I have a hard time with it is because, for example, my dream about the World Trade Center or whatever I dreamt about, the September 11th attacks, I don't see how that was about me at all.
And yes, I agree with you. There are the ones from the past that say everything in the dream is you, or connections to you, and people find those. Gendlin is one that does that. They may represent a part of you, but often it's your own experiences with that person that makes a difference. And I'll tell you, for example, and I'll give you a quick overview of a dream a woman had. She was in my research. She dreamed that her Aunt Jane.
Oh, I was just looking at that article. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I was just commenting. I want you to tell the story, but I was just looking at that article in the book, that piece of the book.
Oh, is that one about what? Okay, you're looking at that about Aunt Jane and that dream.
Yeah, but I didn't mean to stop you. yeah.
No.
Please talk about it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Briefly, her Aunt Jane had passed away, and then the day before, and she just fell into a great grief, and she couldn't understand why, because she hadn't been with her Aunt Jane in many years when they were children. Aunt Jane, and so she couldn't understand why. She couldn't even get up and go on to work. She wanted to go back to bed. She felt so bad. And that in the dream, then a little boy by the name of Oscar went to was in a rooming house, actually, that the dreamer had stayed in for a while. It was a place where she could be alone. This little boy, Oscar, was down in the basement of this rooming house, and he was not having a very good day. When she interpreted that dream, little Oscar had red hair in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
In waking life, Oscar did not have red hair. Aunt Jane did have flaming red hair.
Oh.
In waking life, Oscar was an actor. That was one of his things he did, was actor. But one time when the dreamer was sitting beside Oscar's girlfriend, and Oscar was up on stage just acting up a storm, the girlfriend said, that's not the way Oscar really is. He's really a very quiet, inward person, introverted person. It turns out that when she goes to the house, she realizes then that that her Aunt Jane, who was always the life of the party, always acting up a storm, that wasn't her true personality. She was really an introvert, and she didn't. And that was one reason that the dreamer was so sad for her. But then the dreamer realized, oh my goodness, this dream is actually about the reason I'm really as sad as I am is because I'm an inward person. I'm an introvert, and I so tempted I go into extroversion. Now, how important would that dream be to that dreamer?
Gosh.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure how important. So, in other words, she sees herself in her Aunt Jane, and does that make her change her way she does things, or at least try to be more sociable?
No, that makes her realize that that when she the dreamer and herself becomes hyper in waking life when she socializes, and she can really do like Aunt Jane did, really socialize, and then she's really hyper afterwards.
I got you. Oh, wow, that is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
You also have the differences of dreams between children, adolescents, and adults in your book.
And yes, and my work has been, and my research and so forth, has been with adults. And the most difficult thing in working with adults is this step 3, is getting them to realize this is their own dreaming language. It's personalized. And then in my book, I have 2 other people that do talk about children and talk about adolescence. And the Monte Allman talks about is the grief method, but children. One of the things that about children, and I've read quite a bit about this, is that when children wake from dreams, don't tell them it's just a dream. Parents need to be understanding with them.
Really?
Tell me my dream, yes, and make it. Don't have to make them understand what's this dream mean to you. No, just say this is something. Just tell me the story of your dream. Adolescents often, though, they're ready to leave home and they're glad to leave home and so forth. But then they realize it's a different world out there, and they then can have some pretty dramatic dreams. Adolescents, though, are old enough that they can, for example, and I haven't used the themid model with them, but they can understand some of the symbolism in their dream and so forth.
Is there
one of the things
Go ahead.
One of the things I'll say here, when people have nightmares that are sickening nightmares and so forth, my colleague Edward Bruce Bynum, the one from Massachusetts, they need to see a counselor instead of trying to work with those kind of dreams. If
Oh, really?
seeing repetitive dreams, don't try to work with it yourself.
You mentioned that our dreams are only to be interpreted by ourselves, but real quick question, is there anything that is universal as far as symbolism is concerned? For example, flying or floating, levitating, that kind of thing, or running around naked. You hear people saying some things like that all the time. Are any of those things universal, and do they have a universal symbolic meaning?
Yes, they are. Things like your feet often mean understanding. Your house often means either the outside might mean your mind, the inside or outside of it. I do have books of. There's one called the Dream Dictionary. Hair, by the way, is one that if you dream about hair comes from the head. And hair often means thoughts. So that's a common one, too.
Really? What about the number 17? Does it mean anything? Because I had a dream. I know I'm not making this up. The other day I had a dream about one of our listeners. I won't tell you who it is because he might be listening. And I have no idea what it meant. 17, all over the dream. I have no idea what it meant. Mm-hmm. But I can't wait to tell him because maybe it means something to him. I don't know.
It might mean something to him. Did you write the dream down? Did you write down what you thought the day before your dream?
No, and there was more to it than that, but I did not write it down. Evelyn, I knew this was going to be a great interview. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk to us. I have a copy of Evelyn's book, and I would like to give it away. Call me if you want it. It's called The Counselor's Guide for the Facilitation for the Facilitating the Interpretation of Dreams. Sorry, I messed up on reading the title. Call me if you want the copy. The rest of us have to go buy it. Evelyn, do you have a website?
Yes, www.yourguidingdreams.com.
Okay. Your Guiding...
There'll be...
Go ahead.
Yes, yourguidingdreams.com.
Okay, got it. Evelyn...
There'll be portions of the book on there and tell you where to order it.
Thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn Duesberry, thank you so much. Looks like we have somebody calling to get the book. Let me take that call off the air and quickly say goodbye to Evelyn. We'll be able to talk to you off the air just real briefly. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The head of the EPA seeing the toxic river spill firsthand, visiting Farmington, New Mexico a day after speaking to residents in Durango, Colorado, saying
new samples from the Animas River show the water quality is improving.
The levels have returned to pre-event conditions.
On Wednesday, Gina McCarthy visited the spill site, calling